Good morning. So today we shall look at the classification of abnormal behavior. Classification of abnormal behavior. Classification of abnormal behavior. So for classification, let us try to understand three terms which will help us for the classification. One is assessment, classification and diagnosis. Assessment, classification and diagnosis. So these three terms will help us to have some understanding of how the mental sicknesses are being classified. By assessment we mean the process of gathering information from the patient. Process of gathering information. When the patient comes to the clinic, the information is gathered, gathering of the information. General information from the patient. It's the process of gathering the information from the patient. So whenever someone goes to the clinic, to the psychiatrist, a general examination is done. When they gather all the necessary information, that is what we call as assessment. Then comes the classification. It means it's a list of various types of problems and symptoms. List of problems and symptoms. Problems and related symptoms. Related symptoms. So a list has been made based on the problems, various types of problems that the person has, and then the associated symptoms or related symptoms. What are the symptoms related to that particular problem of the person? The person is having many problems. All the problems are being listed and also the associated symptoms. Whatever symptoms which are related to that particular problem of the person. And then finally we come to the diagnosis, that is the identification and recognition. Identification and the recognition of a disorder. Identification and the recognition. Identification and the recognition of the disorders. Identification and the recognition of the disorders based on the symptoms and the basis of its symptoms. So here the medical personnel, the mental health professionals or the psychiatrist, they identify the problem and they recognize the mental sickness based on the symptoms, based on the information that has been gathered. So these three go together. The assessment has been made, then there is a kind of classification and comes the diagnosis. After the diagnosis comes the treatment. Once the person has been diagnosed, then treatment has been proposed. There can be medication, or there can be therapy, or whatever is best for the person based on the symptoms and the sickness that has been diagnosed. So this is the basic process of classification. So we have assessment, gathering the information, Then classification, the list of problems and the related symptoms has been prepared. Then comes the diagnosis, where comes the identification and the recognition of the disorders based on the symptoms that are manifested, based on the symptoms that are found in the patient. This will take us to the 5-axis or multi-axis classification of the mental sickness. It's a very important one. Multi-axial classification system. Multi-axial classification system. That is based on DSM-4 textual revision. So DSM-4 textual revision, the 4th edition, it presents a multi-axial classification system. Multi-axial. Multi-axial classification system according to DSM-4. Hope you remember this TR, no? Textual revision or text revision. So according to DSM-4 text revision, a multi-axial classification system has been proposed, or we call them as the 5 axes of diagnosis. The 5 axes of diagnosis. But this axis system has been removed, the new one, DSM-5. But still all the psychologists, they find it very helpful, this 5 axis system for classification. Whereas this has been removed in the latest edition, DSM-5. So what are these 5 axes? Axis 1, axis 1, axis 2, and 3, 4, 5. Axis, we call them as axis. Axis 1, axis 2, axis 3, axis 4, and axis 5. So it's a 5 division of the classification of abnormal behavior, which is called as multi-axial classification system, or the 5 axes of diagnosis according to DSM-4 text revision. The axis 1, this deals with clinical disorders. Clinical disorders. All the mental disorders, clinical disorders, will fall in this first axis. Clinical disorders. All the mental disorders. We shall give some examples. Then comes the axis 2. It deals with all the personality disorders. Another important axis. Personality disorders. So the axis 1 deals with the clinical disorders, which means all the mental disorders. Axis 2 deals with all the personality disorders, all the disorders which are concerning our personalities. And the third one, axis 3, deals with general medical conditions. These two are the main ones. Axis 1 and 2, it includes all the sicknesses. Whereas the next 3 axes, they will give little more information about the person. So axis 3 deals with general medical conditions. General medical conditions. In other words, physical disorders and physical disorders. Physical disorders. So most of the time they will be connected. The clinical disorders and the physical disorders, there may be some connection. That's why the doctors want to rule out all the possibility of a physical disorder. They may send the patient for physical examination, and then they will come to the psychiatric lab, psychiatric clinic for further examination of the patient and the diagnosis. So the axis 3 deals with general medical condition of the person, and all the physical disorders are listed here. And axis 4 deals with psychosocial and environmental problems. The person is having a clinical disorder. Why is having the clinical disorder? If the person is having personality disorder, what is the cause for that? Or if the person is having some general medical conditions or the physical disorders, what is the root cause of all this? From where all these sicknesses are coming? What is the origin of this sickness? So this axis 4 will give us that understanding. That is what we mean by psychosocial and environmental problems of the person. Psychosocial and environmental problems. Psychosocial and environmental problems. They come under axis 4, the fourth division. And finally, the axis 5, we have something called GAF. We talked about it in the very first day. Hope you remember that. GAF, Global Assessment of Functioning. So that comes in the fifth axis. Global Assessment of Functioning. GAF. Global Assessment of Functioning. GAF. What is GAF? It is to describe the person's level of psychological, social, and occupational functioning. What is the psychological functioning of the person, the social functioning of the person, and the occupational functioning of the person? 3 levels the person will be assessed: psychological, social, and occupational. And there is a scale called GAF scale, and the scores will be registered on this particular GAF scale to show or to know where the person stands in this scale. Okay. If he scores higher, the person is healthy. If the person is scoring very low score, the scale of 100, that means the person is struggling in some areas, or the person may be having some kind of abnormality. We'll come back to it again. GAF scale. So this describes the person's level of psychological functioning, social functioning, and occupational functioning. Let's go to each axis in brief. We don't deal with them elaborately, just to know what does it mean. So it is important to know what each axis speaks about. Let us look at the first axis, axis 1, which deals with clinical disorders. First and 2 are the very important ones. The other 3 are more to support these first 2 axes. All the mental sicknesses come under these 2 axes. So clinical disorders. Let us pick up some of the clinical disorders in brief, and we shall deal with them elaborately in other chapters. What are the clinical disorders? Some clinical disorders we can speak of. Cognitive disorders. So the examples of clinical disorders. Cognitive disorders. Then we have psychotic disorders. Psychotic disorders. Then we have mood disorders. Based on one's moods, the person may exhibit some disordered way of functioning. Mood disorders. Then anxiety disorders, another major disorders. Anxiety disorders. Then another famous disorder, sleeping disorders and eating disorders. Sleep disorders, eating disorders. Sleep disorders. Sleep disorders and eating disorders. So these are some of the examples of clinical disorders. For example, cognitive disorders. When we talk about cognitive disorders, there is a distortion in the thought patterns of the person. When there is a distortion in the thought patterns, naturally the person may be exhibiting some abnormal behaviors. For example, dementia, the memory loss, memory disorder. The person loses the memory. Must have heard about short-term memory loss. The person losing the orientation of himself. It's called dementia. Some examples for clinical cognitive disorders. Dementia. And there is delirium. Another example for cognitive disorders. Delirium means confused thinking. Delirium means confused thinking and reduced awareness of the surroundings. The person is very much confused in his thinking and he will lose the awareness of the surroundings. So basically in all the clinical disorders, mainly in the psychotic disorders, there is a loss of reality touch. Person is not being in touch with the reality. There is no sense of time, sense of space, sense of place. No, you loses everything. So in delirium, it means the confused thinking or reduced awareness of the surroundings. So that makes the person to suffer with the sickness called delirium. This comes under cognitive disorders in terms of thinking, distortion in one's thinking pattern. And we have psychotic disorder, another big one. Schizophrenia. 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 In split mind. Schizophrenia means split mind. The person's mind is in split. It's a very deadly sickness, very dangerous one. Schizophrenia. The person who is suffering with schizophrenia, mainly they have two symptoms. One is hallucinations and delusions. Schizophrenia. Psychotic disorders, the main symptoms will be hallucinations. And delusions. These are the two main symptoms. Hallucination means hearing things and seeing things which are not there, which no one hears, only that person will be hearing things. Hallucination. It's called auditory hallucinations. The person is hearing voices. That is the meaning of hallucination. Sometimes people hear voices. Strange phenomena. Or sometimes people see things which we do not see, which the normal person doesn't see. They see some things. Visual hallucination. Or they have auditory hallucination. Hearing things which do not exist or seeing things which do not exist. It's a very dangerous sign. Hallucinations. And we also have delusions. Delusion means fixed and false personal beliefs. Fixed and false personal beliefs. The person will have fixed beliefs, false beliefs, which are very difficult to change. which are resistant to change. They will not be convinced. They'll be very firm in that. Fixed and false personal beliefs which are very resistant to change. They will not accept. They have their own fixed beliefs, false beliefs. That is what we mean by delusions. So these people will have hallucinations and delusions. That means they lose touch with the reality. They lose touch with the reality. That is called psychosis. The person loses the touch with the reality, and he will be in another world altogether. So he doesn't know what he is doing or what he is talking. It can be very dangerous because there is no coordination between his thought, his emotion and actions. They will be completely disconnected. So if a normal person, there will be always a connection between what the person thinks, what the person feels and how the person behaves. The person suffering from schizophrenia, he will lose this connection. There won't be touch with his thoughts, feelings and behaviors. They will be totally unrelated. So they lose touch with the reality. They fail in reality testing. They are not in touch with the reality. Then only they have these hallucinations and delusions. They hear things, they see things which the normal person doesn't see or hear. Or they have their own beliefs, fixed beliefs and false beliefs which are very resistant to change. That is what we mean by delusions. So when we hear about these two symptoms, the person must be suffering from psychotic disorders. Very dangerous one. Hallucinations and delusions. We shall come back to it when we talk about schizophrenia. Now we are just giving some examples for these axis 1 clinical disorders. Then there comes mood disorders. Depending on one's mood, there are some disorders, mainly the depression. When we talk about mood disorders, it has to do with one's mood, depression, major depression. And there is bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder. Bipolar means the person will move from one pole to the other pole. You will be extremely happy or you will be extremely sad, or you will be on the top of the world or you will come crushing. That is the mania. We told bipolar means there is a manic stage and there is depressive state. When the person is in manic state, he will have grandiosity. He will feel he is greater than anybody in the world. He will become mania. Otherwise, he will come crushing down, completely depressed, no life, no energy, sense of worthlessness, sense of helplessness, sense of hopelessness. That is depression. Hopelessness, helplessness, worthlessness. That is depression. Whereas mania means grandiosity. The person feels he is the top of the world, or he is greater than anybody in the world, or he can do everything on his own. Mania, sense of grandiosity. Depression is hopelessness, helplessness, worthlessness. So the person will swing from one pole to the other pole. That is what we mean by bipolar disorder, and it is what we call as mood disorder. There will be mood swings. Very dangerous one, bipolar disorder. So depression, there is mania. The person can be also only with the depression, suffering from depression. The person also can be only suffering from mania because of these high moods, high spirits. But if the person swings from one pole to the other, it becomes bipolar disorder. It's another mood disorder. The person can be having only depression, or he can be having only mania. If he is having both, then it becomes bipolar disorder. Okay, depression and mania. So that is what we understand by mood disorder. There are mood swings. The person's mood is constantly changing. And there comes anxiety disorders, another common disorders. Anxiety disorders. In fact, for all the clinical disorders, there will be a kind of anxiety, nervousness. The person's inability to handle this nervousness or the anxiety leads the person towards this sickness. All the anxieties, all the mood disorders, all the clinical disorders for that matter, there is sense of anxiety. A a severe anxiety, a nervousness that leads the person to exhibit this abnormal behavior. So, what are these anxiety disorders? There is generalized anxiety disorder, GAD, generalized anxiety disorder. Generalized anxiety disorder. These are some examples. The another disorder is OCD, very famous one, obsessive compulsive disorder. That also has to do with anxiety. Obsessive compulsive disorder. The OCD is basically an anxious person, a restless person. You will be all the time restless because there is a lot of anxiety deep down. You will have obsessions and you will have compulsions. You feel something is, some dirt is on the hand, immediately there is compulsion to go and wash. So there is obsession in thought process because there is anxiety deep down. So immediately the person will go and wash hands. Again he comes inside, again something happens, immediately he wants to go and clean the hands. They will be keep on washing the hands. They are so much concerned about neatness and tidiness. We all need to be tidy and neat and clean, but these people will be obsessed with the cleanliness, obsessed with the perfectionism, and they cannot enjoy themselves. They cannot enjoy the everyday pleasures of life. They cannot have fun. They cannot have relaxation. They will be all the time serious, worried about many things. They will be constantly restless. So that is OCD. We have generalized anxiety disorder, the person who is all the time anxious, and there is also OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. Then there is something called PTSD. You learn so many sickness disorders, no? PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder. Post traumatic stress disorder. Post traumatic, that means after some traumatic incident, there will be person will be under stress. For example, a loved one is lost, a death in the family, a significant person in the family is no more. So that will have a lot of impact on this person. So these people will be suffering for many months. It is normal to suffer for 1 week or 2 weeks, even for 1 month. It is very normal to have a grief, to come to terms with the death of a loved one. But the people or the person who is having this traumatic disorder, they will continue for years. For several years they may be under trauma. They cannot come back to normalcy. That means they are under post-traumatic stress disorder. Basically there is an anxiety. That's why it is called as anxiety disorder. And there is also panic disorder, which comes under same anxiety disorder, panic. The person will be panicking all the time, panic disorder. Panic disorder. So these are some examples for anxiety disorders. So we have generalized anxiety disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, then PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder, then panic disorder. There is also a sickness called social anxiety. That also comes under anxiety disorder. Social anxiety. The person will be anxious to be in the midst of people. So you will be a loner. Social anxiety. You will be more an avoidant person, withdrawing from the crowds, withdrawing from the gatherings. You will not enjoy the company of others. Others also will not enjoy his presence because the person will be always feeling ill at ease. You will be a very moody person or very reserved person. So they have kind of social anxiety. Then we have sleep disorders. We already talked about it. Some examples of sleep disorders. One is insomnia, the famous one, not able to fall asleep. The other one is narcolepsy, too much of sleepiness during the daytime. Sleep disorder, narcolepsy. Insomnia is common one. Insomnia. Narcolepsy is falling sleepy during the daytime. In spite of having had a good sleep the previous night, the person will be feeling sleepy all the time, drowsy, too much of sleepiness during the daytime, and the person will be all the time tired and weak. They will easily fall asleep everywhere. In all the activities, they will be found sleeping. It's called narcolepsy. Then there are some eating disorders, sleep disorders. Eating disorders we already talked about. There is anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa. The persons who want to be thin, the persons who want to look very slim, so they will hurt themselves by not taking food for themselves. The bulimia nervosa, consuming too much food, and again there is purging, vomiting, so that they don't want to gain weight. They want to look slim. So that also comes under clinical disorder. So these are some examples for clinical disorders. The major ones we have already cited: cognitive disorders, psychotic disorders, mood disorders, anxiety disorders, and sleep disorders. So this will bring us to the axis 2 personality disorders. Axis 2 deals with the personality disorders. Axis 2 deals with the personality disorders. Axis 2 personality disorders. Personality disorders and mental retardation. Mental retardation. All the personality disorders. As I said, this axis 1 and axis 2 are the important ones because they contain almost all the mental clinical disorders and the personality disorders. So axis 2 deals with personality disorders and mental retardation. This axis 2 is basically divided into 3 clusters. Cluster A, cluster B, and cluster C. So our personalities are categorized into these 3 clusters, personality disorders. Cluster A, cluster B, and cluster C. Basically, there are 10 personality disorders. 10 personality disorders. There may be personality styles, which are 12 personality styles, but as disorders we have 10 personality disorders. And what are these? The cluster A is called, they have given some specific names for each cluster. Cluster A is called odd or eccentric. Odd cluster, ODD, very strange one. Odd or eccentric. Odd cluster or eccentric cluster. Odd or eccentric means very strange, weird, bizarre. So odd or eccentric cluster. They will exhibit very strange behaviors. Strange, weird, bizarre. Extremely strange, that is bizarre, awkward, looks very awkward for others to see. Yesterday we talked about observer discomfort. We will experience that here. When we look at these persons, we will have that observer discomfort. The person who looks at them or who lives with them will find it very hard, will feel ill at ease to be in the presence of these people. They are very strange, weird, and bizarre. And these people also, they are known for avoidance, rigidity, and impairment. Avoidance, rigidity, rigidity. Avoidance means they will be avoiding the people and the crowds. They don't enjoy the company of others. Others also can't enjoy their company. They are like emotionless people, very rigid people, rigidity. And they are also known for their impairment. 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 Impairment means weakening, diminishing, lessening. That is impairment. Their normal functions are weakening, they are diminishing, or they are lessening. This avoidance. Avoidance means evading, escaping, and eluding. They will be evading, escaping from others, and eluding the reality. Avoidance. Evading, eluding, and escaping. So these are some of the adjectives to describe these people, those who come under this cluster A. They are basically avoiding people, evading, eluding, and escaping. And they also have this rigidity, very rigid personalities. Cluster A people. Rigidity means inflexibility, inelasticity, and severity. Rigidity means they are inflexible people, inflexibility. Inflexibility, inelasticity, and severity. So that is the meaning of rigidity. So these are the basic qualities of these people, those who come under cluster A personality disorders. There are basically 3 personality disorders come under cluster A. Paranoid personality disorder, schizoid personality disorder, and schizotypal personality disorder. These 3 have these common characteristics. These are the common characteristics. Paranoid, schizoid, schizotypal. So we call them as PSS cluster. Cluster A is called PSS. Paranoid personality disorder, schizoid personality disorder, schizotypal personality disorder. We shall look at them a little later. Now we only see the general characteristics of all these 3. All these 3 personality disorder which comes under cluster A. And this cluster A is called odd or eccentric cluster. What does odd and eccentric means? Very strange, weird, and bizarre. Just totally different from the normal behaviors. So immediately we will know that this person has got personality disorder. Very rarely we find such people, but the moment we find, immediately we will know. If you do not know, that means they do not have personality disorder. Immediately will be evident for everybody to see. Very strange behaviors, extreme behaviors, and weird and bizarre behaviors will be manifested by people in this cluster. And they have this main characteristic called avoidance, rigidity, and impairment. Avoidance means evading, eluding, and escaping. Rigidity means inflexibility, inelasticity, and severity. They are very inflexible people, very rigid people, very reluctant people. They can be stiff-necked people, rigid people. And then there is impairment, another important characteristics of people, those who come under cluster A. That is impairment, diminishing, lessening, and weakening of reality testing. They will not be in touch with the reality. So their reality testing capacity will be diminishing, lessening, and weakening. That is impairment. Diminishing, lessening and weakening. So they are impairment with the reality testing. They are not in touch with the reality. So these are the important characteristics of people, those who come under cluster A, mainly 3 disorders. We shall talk about it in the next class.